The Rookie of the Year in the MLB is awarded to the best Rookie of the Year. Pretty self-explanatory. And usually the Rookie of the Year turns out to have a pretty good career. But some of the Rookie of the Year winners do not pan out at all. Some of them don't even make it to 5 seasons in the MLB. And that's what we're going to be looking into today is the top 5 biggest bust Rookie of the Year winners. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Number 5, Pat Listash. Pat Listash was drafted in the 23rd round of the 1987 draft by the Mariners, but after that, he decided to stay in college. The next year, he would get drafted in the 5th round by the Brewers. He would spend 4 years in the minors, getting called up in 1992 at age 24. This season, he would be alright. In 149 games, he was batting .290 with a .352 on-base percentage and a .349 slugging. He also stole 54 bases, but wasn't super effective, getting caught stealing 18 times. He only hit 1 homer and 47 RBIs, and was a below-average hitter according to OPS Plus with a 99 mark, which 100 if you didn't know. Anything with a plus in baseball, 100 is average. He did have a pretty impressive baseball reference WAR with a 4.5. Nevertheless, he still won Rookie of the Year, getting 20 of the first place votes, while second place Hall of Famer Kenny Lofton got only 7. And if you know anything about Kenny Lofton, I'm just kidding about the Hall of Famer part, because he got snubbed to being in Cooperstown, just like this Rookie of the Year. But this would be the best season of Pat Listash's career, as the next season would pale in comparison. He only played in 98 games the next season and would hit .244 with a .319 on-base percentage and a .317 slugging. Once again, he was a below-average hitter with only a 73 OPS plus. This year, his base running couldn't save him as well, as he only stole 18 bases and got caught 9 times. This was the last year he would have a 1 or higher WAR. The next season, he only played in 26 games due to a knee surgery that would take away his speed for the rest of his career, which ultimately would lead to his downfall. In 1995, he was horrific. He was not good at all. In 101 games, he had a .219 average, .276 on base, and a .254 slugging. And that was good enough for a mind-boggling 37 OPS plus. Should have won MVP, which is way below average if you don't know. For the first time in the career, he had a negative WAR, which was a thing that would keep on happening for the rest of his career. He also only stole 13 bases to 3 caught stealing. That's only 2 more stolen bases than Paul Goldschmidt last season. This is being filmed in the 2024 season, so it's 2023. And also, Paul Goldschmidt only got caught twice, so he had a higher stolen base percentage than him on a guy who was supposed to be. He also had a below-average defense at shortstop, and also was hitting the ball like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, so it's kind of easy to see why he fell off so drastically and why he's on this list. Base running of Paul Goldschmidt, horrible defense, well, not horrible, just below average, and hitting like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa showed in his stats, as he would combine for a negative 1.8 WAR and have a first season in this 2 years 59 OPS plus and then a 28. He would only play in 139 games in those 2 seasons, and 1997 would be his last in the majors. Overall, in his 6-year career, he would bat only .256 with a .316 on base and a .309 slugging. He only hit 5 homers in his career and had a OPS plus of 68. Today, he is the bench coach for the Charlotte Knights, a AAA affiliate of the White Sox, and right now is exactly where he belongs, on the bench. Number 4, Bob Hamlin. Bob Hamlin was drafted in the 2nd round of the 1988 draft by the Kansas City Royals. He would spend 5 years in the minors, but would get called up in that 5th year. This would not be his Rookie of the Year campaign, as he only played in 16 games, and was not very good during this time with an 87 OPS plus. His next year, though, was quite the opposite. He had a .282 average with an insanely high .388 on base and a .599 slugging. This would lead him to a 147 OPS plus, which was an amazing season, and especially for a rookie, and had a 2.6 WAR, and of course the Rookie of the Year. His defense wasn't as good, though, as he had a negative defensive WAR, which is something he would carry with him to the end of his career. Next year he fell down to earth and maybe even lower as he had an absolutely horrible season, playing in only 72 games and slashed 168, 278, 313, which was good for a 53 OPS plus. His home run totals went from 24 to 7, and his doubles went from 25 to 7. So his power massively decreased. He also had a negative 1.1 WAR this season, and he overall was a very down year in his career. And next season he was hoping to get better. And he did a little bit. He got a little better with a 255 batting average and a 391 on base, as his on base was always high. But his slugging was still down at only a 437. This next season would be his best since his rookie campaign after getting released and signing to the Detroit Tigers. He was slashed 277, 366, and 487. Get his slugging up, but not quite to the near 600 it was his rookie year. He did get over 1 WAR this season and had a 122 OPS plus. The next season would also be his last in the majors. This year he was playing for the Brewers, and he didn't do too good. He played in 109 games, batting .219 with not even a 300 on base this season at a 295 and a 404 slug. He had a below average 82 OPS plus and a negative .8 WAR. Over his 6-year career, he only played in 297 games, which is around only 83 games a year. He slashed 246, 352, 464 in his career, which is respectful, but it's carried because how good his rookie year was. He didn't really match that level after that. He would only reach his average slugging for his career one more season besides his rookie year. For a supposed to be slugger, he only hit 67 home runs in his career, with 24 of those being in his rookie season. He only reached double-digit homers after his rookie season one more time. The only thing he did well was getting on base, but everything else was just lackluster or average at best. He had bad base running and defense. It wasn't bad, but it was average. And after having such a dominant rookie season, it was sad to see that he became a bust. Number 3, Joe Charbonneau. Now it's time for probably one of the wildest MLB players of all time. If you watch the YouTube channel Baseball Historian, you might know him because he made a video on him with No More Fielders as well as in that video, I think. And his nickname was Super Joe Charbonneau. He has hit a homer to the third deck in Old Yankee Stadium, which is something that's only been done 3 times. But we're not here to talk about his good and all the fun things he did, but because he was a bust. Joe Charbonneau was drafted in the second round of the 1976 draft by the Phillies, but then was in a slump with the Phillies and asked to be sent down Class A ball. And when they declined, he quit baseball. Eventually, 3 years later, he signed back to the Phillies. Joe then was shipped to the Cleveland Indians the offseason after. He made his MLB debut for the Indians in 1980. And he took off. In his first year, he slashed 289, 358, and 488. He hit 23 homers with 87 RBIs. He ended the season with a 129 OPS plus and a 2.4 WAR. He played in 131 games this season, more than he would for the rest of his career. The next year in spring training, he would injure his back while sliding into second base. He would never be the same hitter after that. His sophomore campaign, he hit 210 with a 247 on base and slugged only 362. That was good for only a 75 OPS plus and a negative .4 WAR. His 1982 season would be his last. This year he only played in 22 games, hitting 214 with a 286 on base and a 392 slugging. After that, he would only play in the minors. Over his career, he would play in 201 games with a 266 average, 339 on base, and a 453 slugging. He would hit 29 homers and 144 RBI and accumulate 1.5 WAR, which was less than he had in his rookie year. Number 2, Butch Metzger. Now, this is the only pitcher on our list as he was a reliever, and he was drafted in the second round of the 1970 MLB draft straight out of high school. He would spend 5 years in the minors before getting called up at age 22. This was short-lived, though, as he only pitched 12.2 innings with a respectable 1.11 ERA+. Next year, he would be different, only pitching 4.2 innings in the majors with a 7.71 ERA and a horrible 49 ERA+. This next season would be his actual rookie season. This year he would pitch 123.1 innings, only one of two times he would ever pitch over 100 innings in a season. He had a 2.92 ERA with a 1.12 ERA plus. His whip wouldn't be anything crazy at a 1.39, which is close to actually being below average. Overall, he did have a pretty good season. His next season would not be the same, pitching 115.1 innings, and he had a 3.59 ERA and a 107 ERA plus. His whip actually got better this season at a 1.34 mark, but this season would also be his last good one, and his second to last overall. Next season, he would only pitch 37.1 innings to the tune of a 6.51 ERA and a 54 ERA plus. He also had a 1.88 whip, which is horrible. So he was not good at all this season, and that would be it for his major league career. There isn't really much to say about Butch. He only played 3 seasons in the MLB and was slightly above average for his first 2 seasons and was horrible in his last. Number 1, Angel Barroa. Angel Barroa was signed out of the Dominican Republic by the Oakland Athletics. He would make his MLB debut in 2001. In only 56 plate appearances, he batted .302 with a 339 and a 340 slugging. The next year, he would only get a small sample size as well, with only 83 plate appearances while having a worse season, batting only .277 with a 301 base and a 347 slugging. The next season, though, would be his breakout with his Rookie of the Year winning season. In 2003, at age 25, he slashed .287, 338, and 451 with a 101 OPS plus. He also stole 21 bases but was caught 5 times. Overall, he had a near average season, but that could not be said for the rest of his career. Next season wasn't as good, as he slashed .262, 308, with a 385 slugging. His power dropped off again to where it was when he first got to the bigs in those short 2001 and 2 seasons. Next year would be about the same thing, 270 average with a 305 OBP and a 375 slugging. His OPS plus was only 2 points higher than the year before at an 81. His next season would be his worst. He batted only .234 with a 259 on base and a 333 slugging percentage. This was good for an insanely low 52 OPS plus. The next season, he would only have 13 plate appearances, so I'll just skip it. And those 13 plate appearances were not good at all. The next season, he would be on the Dodgers, but the change of scenery did not help him. He continued his struggles with a .230 average, a 301 on base, and a 310 slugging. His OPS plus was only a 64. Oh yeah, he also compiled a negative 2.3 WAR since his rookie year. The 2009 season would be his last. And when I said 2006 would be his worst, I lied. This season was very bad. He only had 55 plate appearances. He only batted .143 with a 208 on base and a horrible 184 slugging. This resulted in him having a laughable 4 OPS plus. And this would be the last time we would ever see Angel in majors. In his career, he slashed .258, 303, with a 374 slug, with an OPS plus of 76. His career WAR was only 1 compared to his rookie season of 2.5. It is clear to see that Angel Barroa was a bust. And that'll do it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. If I missed anybody, make sure to drop a comment below. And if y'all want it, I might make a part 2 of those people. And make sure to like and subscribe.